What's going on, everybody? Thanks for tuning in. So, about a year and a half ago, somebody wrote in the comments requesting that I do celebrity relationship readings, and I was a little hesitant, probably a lot hesitant since it's been a year and a half because, I feel that a lot of those relationships that we see between celebrities are kind of manufactured in a lot of ways. But I said, I've been watching a lot of spiritual things lately, and I came across a lot of statements to the effect of, you know, using what you know, using your knowledge to help people to become better in some way. And in that small way, you can help do your little part as it relates to helping humanity in some way. I mean, I believe that one of the reasons that we've all come to Earth and one of the reasons that we are here is to use our talents to help others to become better in some way. If you're not doing that, then you're not really fulfilling your life's mission. So, hopefully, through this reading or these series of readings, I can, give you a little insight into how relationships work from the lens of astrology, and maybe just maybe it'll help you to become the best you can be in relationships. So I'm going to start off with Jay-Z and Beyonce. Why? No particular reason. They're well known, and I saw them come up in my feed in YouTube, so I was like, let me just do them. I'll probably do Travis Kelsey and Taylor Swift next. But I need to know if you guys like this, if you want me to continue to do more, and if I can get some more subscribers and some likes, then I'll know that it's worth it. Um, the interesting thing with the Taylor Swift, I sort of did a sports astrology brief reading on the relationship from the standpoint of her football player husband, Travis Kelsey. Not husband. Ooh, let me not say husband, but her fiance. And man, Swifties came out of nowhere. It was a sports video, a sports astrology video, and her 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 fans came out of nowhere and started bashing me. I was like, "What is going on?" And it got the most views ever. It's on my sports astrology channel, but I'm still going to do one, and I'm going to try to keep it kosher. I'm going to keep it real as far as the reading is concerned, but I'm going to definitely not judge. Um, and that's something that I don't like to do anyway. I don't like to judge, but I can just give you what I see. All right, so let's get into Jay-Z and Beyonce. Look at their relationship. Um, let's get into it. Okay, so Beyonce Knowles, born 9/4/1981, September 4th. Jay-Z, born December 4th, 1969. And now we can see where this obsession with the number four between the two are sort of born out of. Both of them were born on the fourth day of their month. And so all of these references to four, if you follow them closely, that's part of it. And the other part of it is more of esoteric. I apologize in advance for some of the commercials you might see popping up. I'm using sort of like one of these videos as background eye candy for you while I do this reading. So if some commercials pop up, please forgive me. All right, so that's when they were born. So he's a Sagittarius and she's a Virgo, and that to me points to a interesting challenge as it relates to their egos are concerned. If you know anything about astrology, you know that Virgos and Sagittariuses don't necessarily get along, yet you still see a lot of them in relationships with each other and a lot of them in business partnerships with each other. Why? Because they complement each other in a lot of ways. So if you think about Virgo, they are very, very detail oriented and very much perfectionists. They're spendthrifts, usually. They don't spend a lot. Um, and so, if you think about Sagittarius, on the other hand, they can they can spend a lot without paying attention to all of the details. So they're not very detail oriented, and they have grand idealistic views. They see things from um, they see the bigger picture as it relates to life and everything they do. So you can see where there is a difference there, but at the same time, if you think about it, they can complement each other if they accept each other as they are. So he's the guy that's the billionaire per se. He's expansive. Jupiter rules Sagittarius, and Jupiter represents, they call it the planet of luck, the planet of expansion. Everything it touches, it brings luck. It enlarges everything. And so that is him. He's not necessarily detail oriented again. And he always looks at the bigger picture. So he can bring in the billions. He can, and he's fearless. So he can, handle that part. And where she comes in is she probably helps him to manage his money better. She probably brings a little bit of the attention to details he needs so that he can maintain their lifestyle. And that's a compliment for each other. So there you have that. Next up, they have dual Venus Mars aspects. And not only are they both, um, not only are both of their Mars and Venuses touching each other, both aspects are positive. There's a positive, harmonious link between those planets. So it's not like one of them has Venus square Mars. And if we know anything about astrology, you know that square means that it's a challenging aspect between the two planets. So it's not like they have that. No, they both have trines, which is a more harmonious aspect. If you think about the triangle and all the harmony there, as opposed to the square where it's a challenge. So they are doubly attracted to each other. Like when I was looking at this chart and I kind of skimmed through it, I was like, wow, this couple was made to meet each other. They really get along. They have fun. This is not one of those sort of built relationship, or one of these made up relationships where you have celebrities together just for show. No, they are really attracted to each other. In fact, when he probably first laid eyes on her, he was probably like, I want her. And when she finally came into contact with him, she was probably like, okay. You know what I'm saying? So Venus trine Mars. All right. So her Venus trine Mars. That is a good thing for a man and a woman to have, especially when the woman's Venus is trining or in a harmonious aspect with his Mars, because Venus represents beauty, femininity. When it's the woman, that's a good thing. And Mars represents the warrior within us, how we take action, the aggression within us. And that's considered a very masculine energy. And so it's almost like that Mars chasing that Venus, the strong warrior man chasing the Venus woman, the beautiful woman. And it's just a natural attraction there. They are physically attracted to each other. And then her Mars is in harmonious aspect with his Venus. So the feminine side of him really is attracted to how she goes about her sense of getting what she wants. And she brings out a little bit of that feminine side to him. Everybody has a masculine side and a feminine side. I don't care who it is. And if they have very little feminine side, if you're a man, then that might cause some problems. Trust me. You gotta have more of a balance there, in my opinion. Okay, so we can see this play out with her Mars trying his Venus, because as we've seen, he started to, he's kind of dropped the baggy hip hop style a little bit. Now he's getting a little more, nice fitted suits and the dreadlocks and the artist look, and him, sort of stepping out of his realm of being hip hop hard, go hard, So she's bringing a little bit of that out of him. At the end of the day, they are really, really attracted to each other. This is not a relationship that is fake. Okay, next up, her Mars, her sense of an action now. Excuse me. Her sense of how she takes action, her sense of how she gets what she wants has a problem here, because his Saturn is in disharmony with her Mars. Okay? Saturn is the teacher planet, and some people don't appreciate it when Saturn comes into contact with certain planets of theirs, especially Mars, especially when it's a challenging aspect. So it's a Mars square Saturn. And remember I said square aspects are challenging aspect. This to me tells me that in a lot of ways he could be overpowering, or he could be a little too controlling in the relationship. So whatever rumors you've heard about him being a little too overbearing and too possessive of her, or him being too controlling of her, certain aspects of that might be true, because I can see that here. An example might be my father's Saturn was square my Mars. So I'm inclined to get what I want and to go after what I want in a certain way. But my father had an inharmonious aspect with my Mars, which to me felt like it was a weight bearing down on my actions. Like everything I did, I felt like he was coming down on me. And it was way too hard, way too harsh, and he was very controlling. I couldn't do anything without going through him. And if he said, hell no, you can't do this, that's the way it had to be. And that's kind of the energy there. Like it's very, it can stymie certain aspects of you having your own life and going your own way. So in a lot of ways, the sort of life she thought she was going to have, she might not be living it exactly, because you have like a bit of a controlling figure in your life. Okay, but they have attraction for each other. They are sexually attracted to each other, romantically attracted to each other. They like being around each other. They can sit for hours, chill out, veg out, and it's all good. It's just that, there's a little bit of controlling there. But they have so many good aspects on this chart that tells me that they work through it. Okay, so next up, they have dual Mars Neptune aspects. Now this is good. This is cool, because Neptune represents spirituality, however you want to view that. Like it doesn't have to do with God per se. It doesn't have to do with spirituality on other levels. It can be dark spirituality. It's spirituality in general however you two defined it. And both of them have positive, harmonious aspects between their Mars and Neptunes. So, whatever their religious or spiritual view is, they are in accord with it. They're in the same, they're on the same page there. And so there is a definitely, and this also tells me that there's a connection beyond them just physically, them just physically being attracted to each other. There's something deeper going there. It's like they came to Earth to be together for sure. So, so they are connected spiritually, however you define that, whether it's esoteric, with them doing all those signs and them talking about the number 4 and all of that. They are in concert with each other there. Okay. All right, next up, her Jupiter sextile his sun. This is very powerful because remember, Jupiter represents his astrological sign. Jupiter rules Sagittarius. And the fact that her Jupiter is in harmonious aspect with his sun, his ego, that means that, man, they do a lot of laughing. They really enjoy each other. They can, like I said, they can just chill out and hang out. And that's enough. They don't even have to do much. They can just be in each other's presence. They enjoy being in each other's presence. That is a good thing. So Jupiter sextile sun, her Jupiter sextile his sun. She pleases him. She makes sure he's happy. They laugh a lot. His sense of humor keeps her laughing. And it's a tight aspect too. They have the aspect is almost 0. That means almost an exact aspect between that. So they really do get along. They like to socialize. They like to hang out together. This couple was meant to be together, and they really do enjoy each other. This is not a manufactured celebrity relationship. Okay, I'm not going to go over some of the outer planet aspects because the personal planets are what's important in the relationships, because the outer planets pertain more to generational aspects. So they're going to get along with people born around the same years the same way. So when I say personal planets, I mean Sun, Mars, Venus, Mercury, and that's it. Yeah, those personal planets. The moon too, but I'm not going to use the moon here because I don't know their exact birth time, so I don't want to say anything about their moons because it could be wrong. All right, next up, Venus conjunct Uranus. That signifies that they'll spend some time apart a lot of the time. And sometimes it's because of the type of work they do, or other times it's because something is pulling them away from each other, obligations in life. We can see that. They're both performers. They both have their own lives. They both make their own money. So they spend a lot of time apart. But when they are together, they do enjoy their company. But anyway, his Venus is conjunct her Uranus. So he understands her idiosyncrasies. Uranus is the planet of freedom, of how you express your uniqueness. And he understands it. He gets it because his Venus is attached to the hip of Uranus. And if he's the type of person that, loves hard and is clingy, then it might be difficult for him. But I think I think this is more has to do with the nature of their work and not with the fact that something else is going on where they just can't be in the same room for certain periods of time. So it manifests in different ways. And luckily for them, it has to do with their work. Like, sometimes she could be performing in Italy and he might have an obligation in New York City, a business meeting or something like that. So there's a lot of things that keep them apart for a certain number of days. But at the end of the day, they come back together always. And it's like they never left. And they're always in communication. So, that's a good thing. I personally am not comfortable when I have, my Venus conjunct or at the hip of somebody else's Uranus, because to me, I like to engage with, I'm very loyal. I like to engage with my small circle of friends and family. And if I have that energy, that means I will be separated for long periods of time, and it's uncomfortable for me. But for them, based on their lifestyle, they might like it. And that can open itself up to a little bit of a, strange, not strange, but unorthodox style relationship. So maybe if they want it to be, they might have a bit of an open relationship or understanding there. But I don't know that for sure. But I'm saying if they wanted to go that route to keep things fresh and cool, then certainly that aspect sort of points to them being accepting of that. So they may, on some level, accept their relationship is not like everybody else's, and how they act on that, I have no idea. But I do know that they are really, really attracted to each other. Next up, Mercury conjunct Neptune. His Mercury, his way of communicating, the way his mind thinks is attached to the hip of her Neptune. So he feels like she is a spiritual gift of his. And sometimes she might feel like she has to act out a character just to keep him happy. But in the end, this is not too bad of an aspect, that Mercury conjunct Neptune. So he feels like she is sort of the person of his dreams as it relates to how he thinks, what he desires, and stuff like that. All right, next up, Mercury sextile Pluto. It's his Mercury sextile her Pluto, which means that he tells her everything. Even when he wants to tell her things, he has this urge to just tell her everything that happens in his life. So it'd be hard for him to lie to her. And if he was to ever do something sort of untoward towards the relationship, eventually she's going to find out, and he's going to tell her, because there's a harmonious aspect between his Mercury, which is the planet of communication, the planet of how we think. It's an harmonious aspect with Pluto. Pluto is it's the planet of power, of the subconscious. So something about her brings out his subconscious desire to tell her every single thing that happens in his life. So she probably has a lot of knowledge about a lot of things about him. So when they first met, they probably spoke for hours on the phone the first time, or hung out for hours, and it was on. I'd imagine fairly quickly, after they linked up, and I told you earlier that he probably first saw her and was like, I want her. She's mine. That's my wife. Too bad she was she was very young at the time, but whatever. Well, not whatever, but that's their business. But so yeah, man. This couple, they were meant to be together, and they are attracted to each other. There's no doubt about that. Okay, next up, Mars trine Pluto. Do you understand how powerful and sexually magnetic that is? His Mars, again, Mars is the warrior planet. Mars is that masculine energy. Mars is how we take action. And something so powerful about her that he just cannot get enough of. And she knows that she has power over his actions. And there is just a carnal, raw attraction there between them. They really, and not only that, it's not that Mars trine Pluto, which is a positive aspect, is not only about sexual attraction, but it's also about working together well as it relates to business, as it relates to getting things done. Like they get things done. That is a power couple for sure. That Mars trine Pluto is no joke between the two. And then they have the other aspects, Venus trine Mars. They do good business together and they have good love making moments. Okay. And let's see if there's anything else. Not really. Of note, North Node signifies our karmic pasts. And when you have people that have planetary aspects to our North Node, that could symbol a karma thing where we were meant to meet on this plane and we're continuing something from another lifetime. And so his Venus is in harmonious aspect with her North Node. So in a lot of ways, he probably feels like maybe they were together in a previous life, if you believe in that sort of thing. But that's kind of what that means, or at least he feels like he's known her all his life and that it is a continuation of something that he can't put his hands on. And then his Neptune is in harmonious aspect with her North Node. And remember, North Node signifies the karmic past. And Neptune signifies spirituality, religion, stuff like that. There is a bad side to all of those planets as well. Like, for instance, Neptune, where you have religion, spirituality, love. On the other side of that, you have deceit, deception, lying, stuff like that. But this is a harmonious aspect, so the harmonious aspects of Neptune are brought out. So there is something there where they were just supposed to be together. It is strong. So yeah, man, that's all I got for this particular relationship reading. That's kind of how I do Synastry readings when somebody asks me if I can do one for them. But overall, this couple was meant to be together. They really are attracted to each other. They work well together. They are a power couple. And every time they accomplish something, that sexual energy pops into gear, and they probably go off somewhere and celebrate in style for sure. They really do like being around each other. There could be a little bit of him controlling the narrative or controlling the relationship. It's in an effort to teach in a lot of ways, but at the end of the day, sometimes she might feel or think to herself, what is my life? What would my life have been like if I had never met him? Because remember, they met when she was young, kind of younger. So she didn't really have her own life to speak of. And, that Saturn in challenging aspect with her Mars can be a bit of a controlling thing there. But at the end of the day, she is really, really, she really loves him, really likes him, attracted to him. You never know what might happen, but I could see them being together until their death. And so, yeah, that's that. So let me know what you think. And that's my first go at it. Please like and subscribe. Help me to get to 500 subscribers. Let me know if I should continue to do more. If you have some suggestions or some requests, let me know, and I'll look at it. I did a cursory one for myself, looking up Charlie Kirk and his wife, and it was interesting there. So maybe I'll do one on them in the future. And again, it's all in the name of love and all in the name of teaching. So I'm not going to judge any of these people. But yeah, that's it. There you have it. Take care.